just wanted to ask you about Anthony Joshua in the 25th. Dominic Brazil, the opponent. What's been the response to that, and also, maybe more importantly, the response to that it is going to be pay-per-view?
Response has been okay. I mean, from the, so I keep saying hardcore fans, which is, I don't like this hardcore and casuals, they're just boxing fans. But for the let's call them nutty fans, you know, it's quite sort of not necessarily cool, but standard at the moment to criticise most things that we do, because we are, say, the dominant force in British boxing. So when you've got that position, people like to rebel. So you know, you're talking about 17-0, unbeaten, 15 knockouts, Olympian. The response for the show with Groves and Murray has been sensational. It's sold out in 30 minutes. That gives you a good idea of the response. People want to see him box Fury, and they want to see him box Hay. But they've got to understand as well, this is a 26-year-old guy who is going to be defending his world title for a long time. Brazil is 17-0, 15 knockouts, 6'7", explosive. It's going to be good. But we need the card as well, because we do appreciate that Anthony Joshua fights might go 2 or 3 rounds. So you can't just have Anthony Joshua and a couple of 10-rounders and 6-rounders. So you have George Groves against Martin Murray, which is a super fight for British boxing. Final eliminator for the world title. That could sell out the O2 on its own. There'll be other world title fights, other big fights on the bill. So, and that's really our mindset, is to deliver value for money with Joshua, because you know, we know and appreciate that he's going to take everybody out, and he can do it quickly. So you need your substance beneath that too.
And another key thing with this opponent was that he would appeal to the American market. Now, I understand you've come from New York. Was that about the TV?
Yeah, it was about a few things. It was about the TV for Anthony Joshua. It was about Kell Brook as well. And they've gone absolutely nuts for Anthony Joshua in America. I mean, it's so nice to walk into a major network and actually feel as though they want to see you, rather than me just banging the door down. So when you go there and you say, yes, I'm representing Anthony Joshua, the door's open. And that's a nice feeling to have. And that's going to benefit not just Anthony Joshua, but our stable of fighters as well, and also British boxing. And we've had offers for him to fight in America, China, the Middle East already. And that will happen as the career progresses. But for now, it's you know, I want to keep everything based in the UK. We'll announce a major deal with a US broadcaster next week. And you know, it's the first time there'll be a multi-fight deal with a US broadcaster since Nazim Hamid. And you know, we've got some interesting other stats coming on the deal as well, which is great. I mean, it's, you know, like I said, it's great to hear American people talking about a British fighter.
Boxing fans and the boxing public always hear these things about TV deals and stuff and broadcasting rights and whatever. What does that actually mean to sign a deal with, you know, for argument's sake, for instance, Showtime or HBO? Do they pay?
I hope so.
They pay Anthony Joshua? Is it money and then they
when you sell rights to any event that you own, you sell the individual territory rights to broadcasters from that territory.
So fight by fight?
Well, it depends on the deal. Right. So for instance, you know, we've got a deal with Sky Sports for 5 years. So that's where we know we are in the UK. If it's in Australia, it'll be with Fox. If it's in France, it might be with Canal+. If it's in Germany, we're with Sat1. If it's in America, it could be HBO or Showtime. Right. But every deal's different, with a different dynamic, with a different value. So, you know, for the American deal, it will be payment to own the US rights for Anthony Joshua fights.
Because what I mean by that is the first, obviously, Dominic Brazil fight. In 5 fights' time, Joshua could be, you know, fights David Hay or Tyson Fury or something. The fight is.
Well, you make sure those dynamics are covered. So we know, we know that, you know, it's difficult to put a value on the rights numbers if it's Fury or if it's Hay. But they'll have the option of those fights. We know where we are for June 25th. We're likely to box again in November. If that's Fury, the dynamics of the deal will change, and that's all written in a contract. I won't bore you with it. But you know, if it's Stavern, which it might be, then we know exactly what the rights fee is going to be again. But you know, the Fury, the Hayes, the Wilders, you know, they're a separate. You know, there's separate clauses and numbers for those type of fights. But obviously, it's my job to make sure that that's covered for Anthony Joshua.
What have you made of the Tyson Fury stuff this week?
He's good fun. I mean, I think some people, like, you know, my friends who just go to the odd boxing show will say to me, have you seen the state of that Tyson Fury? Yeah, other fight fans will embrace it because he's kind of like against the system. And, you know, you've got this great little, it's like a drama series boxing, isn't it? You know, so at the moment you've got like Eddie Hearn and Sky, who is like, ooh, rebel. And then you've got Fury, who rebels against the system. So people love it in boxing. Now, from the outside, the casuals will probably be more supportive of the work that we're doing and less supportive of this crazy guy. But he's a personality, and I think he's great for boxing. Sometimes he goes a little bit over the top, but you know, I was probably shamefully so watching one of his interviews last night in bed, and in my hotel room, and I like a lot of what he says. You know, and he's a lot smarter.
The one you're talking about, the one in Cologne.
No,
He's talking about depression and stuff.
no, I didn't see that one. No, but it's like he talks a lot of truth, and he likes to tell you how it is. You don't have to agree with it all, but he's a lot smarter than people think, and he knows his boxing, and he's a good fighter. You know, I just feel like for a 27-year-old unified heavyweight champion of the world, he's just not got the profile, the commercial deals that he should be having because of many things. But you know,
but he doesn't really seem to care.
Of course he cares.
Yeah.
Of course he cares.
You think?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course he cares. That's why they don't like, you know, they don't like us, they don't like Joshua, because they see what Joshua's got. But forget the belts. You know, Tyson Fury's earned those belts. He's in a much stronger position boxing terms at the moment than Anthony. But from a commercial sense, you know, Anthony's doing multi-million-pound deals with clothing manufacturers, and you know, signing US TV deals, and you know, he's not swanning around saying, look at me, but he's just doing it because he's been promoted properly, he's an exceptional talent, and people like his brand and his image. And I just feel like with Tyson, he's not really got that, and it's very easy to give him that, but you know, one, if you're not with the right platform, that can't be delivered, and two, if you've not got the right commercial team behind you, you're not going to deliver it either. So, but again, I'm not sure he's like sitting there crying about that. He's doing very well for himself. But everybody likes to maximise their earnings, and you know, one day, whether it's November or more likely spring, summer, Fury against Joshua will be one that will break all records.
One final one about Kell Brook. Brought him up. That's what he was part of the conversation over there. Is there some news coming on that front?
Yeah, we're pushing like mad with everybody. I mean, we're making some outrageous offers to people because we have to. People in boxing know how good Kell Brook is, so it's quite difficult to get the guys that you want, and the guys we want are Vargas, Bradley, Garcia, Broner, Peterson's been mentioned. Don't mind that fight as well. You know, any of these big 147 pounders that are going to improve his profile in the UK and in the States as well. We'll travel, it's not a problem, or we'll pay these guys a lot of money. Doesn't matter. But we know Kell Brook has to have a big fight next, and we've got to deliver it because he's that good. He can beat them all. But the problem is, most of them know it. Do you know what I mean? And people will go, oh, shut up, Eddie, what are you talking about? Trust me, when you sit down and you talk to these guys, they know how good Kell Brook is. So it either has to be a carrot for them to fight him, it might be a belt in their backyard, or a sack load of money to make the trip to Sheffield. Either way, we're happy, we've just got to get it made.
In Sheffield, where are you thinking venue-wise?
If it's a big enough fight, we'll go Bramall Lane.
Right.
Sheffield Arena can open up to nearly 12,000.
Bramall Lane would have to be summer then.
Yeah, it'll be end of July, might be August.
Right.
So you know, we're close with a lot of guys, but again, you know, signing the contract's another matter. But we're making good progress.